Hello and welcome to another Uncomplication. I'm Ryan and I won't waste your time because I know it's a holiday for those of you in the United States. It's a day of gratitude and thankfulness. But I was talking to my friend Josh earlier and he found something pretty foul in the charts that I just wanted to show you because it might affect your day. Here's the Bitcoin chart we've been following. We kind of know that in the last couple days we've seen a pretty big dump. And, we've been talking a lot about sort of the direction that this is going to go. It might kind of level out. We might see kind of an accumulation. But essentially, there's this cool method that if you kind of start back here and just start drawing kind of an exponential curve, you can see that we kind of get back into the same zone that we're talking about. And if you keep your focus, on this central point and not worry so much about, the dumps happening or even, going lower than a lot of people have been saying, I think that if we just kind of slow down and focus on what is right in front of us, it's pretty clear that I'm a huge turkey. And that was totally Josh's joke. I poached it. Couldn't help it. Makes for a great intro. But happy Thanksgiving for those of you in the United States or another place in the world that celebrates Thanksgiving. I was just going through all of the comments from the last video and feeling really thankful for this amazing community and all of you wonderful humans that are showing up for each other. There were some amazing responses to my question of how are you doing? And good, bad, or otherwise, it just shows that behind every screen name is a real human like yourself, living life and going through a lot of the same ups and downs. And I was just astounded, as always, to see what an amazing group of people um, are out there in crypto and in a space that is so often dominated by fear and greed and kind of the predacious money making machine. This is the kind of stuff that really just gets me feeling like we're on the right path together. And so today I wanted to share with you a conversation that I had with my friend and colleague Josh, one of the co-founders of the Crypto Garden. We just got together to talk about gratitude, playing ping pong with this notion of what it means to be thankful for the things we have and how it is really hard sometimes to see those things when we are on the roller coaster ride, and any given moment could be a big up or a big down. But when we step back and see everything in the big picture, it makes sense how it all fits. So I will leave you with that. Remember, if you love crypto and you want to join more people like this and have more conversations like this, thecryptogarden.io is the place to join that community. Also, if you want to support me, head over to uncomplication.com. Listen to the podcast. That makes me feel good. There's a lot of episodes there. You can buy a shirt that actually supports me in the creation of these types of endeavors. So without further ado, I am going to play this interview for you. But wherever you are, whatever you celebrate, I am thankful for you. And yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Here we go. What
Yeah,
what do you think of when you think of gratitude? Like our culture in general kind of makes a big deal about it. I've definitely experienced some extreme moments of gratitude, but how does that emotion play into your normal life? And then maybe in the holidays if it's turned up.
yeah. Well, I would love to tell you how I wake up every morning and just spend, 30 minutes in meditation thinking about all the things I'm grateful for. But unfortunately, it's definitely something that requires a lot of intention for us. To get to gratitude, you really have to eject from the flow of just everyday life. I feel like to remind yourself, how how incredible it is to have just health, for instance, right? Something that I think a lot of, because you obviously think of money and possessions, but I just think about even just health, having a bunch of kids and the fact that everybody's healthy right now. That is something that I like to try to reflect on when I think about gratitude. and just reminding ourselves that not in some kind of like cliche, cheap kind of, oh, we're so fortunate. We have all of our needs are met and, we're taken care of and, we have a roof and food and all those things, but try not to make it just a cliche, but actually try to connect around that conversation with our kids. Like, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean that we have what we need? And then that goes to, well, what does it look like when people don't have what they need, and what are some of the things that maybe cause that to happen? And so I think Casey does a much better job than I do of trying to not let that sentence just like, oh, we're grateful, on to the next thing, you know what I mean? But actually sit for a minute and try to unpack that. And I'm not sure that I feel like we do a good job of that, but that right now is, in this season, what we talk about is, can we sit in that sentence or in that thought or that feeling for enough time for it to actually sink in, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yesterday we were talking about someone in the garden who was up like 100K,
Yeah.
and you made a comment which I agreed with, that it's harder to lose it's harder to lose 70K than it is to make 20. Like, it hurts worse when you
Yes.
lose that. um and I think gratitude is similar in that the abundance that many people have, and the close relationships, and this whole world of things available to us, um it's harder to appreciate that, but then the pain of losing one of those things is excruciating. Like, if you added a new friend, you'd move the needle on your happiness index by a few points. If you lost a friend, it can crater the whole thing. So I don't know if there are ways that we can trick ourselves into really feeling that gratitude, and I think there are some meditations that do that. And I've had experiences where, in a completely normal state, everything is fine, actually getting to those realizations that everything is lost and life is finite, and almost mourning the things that you have while you still have them can be that trick that really shows that gratitude. Because I don't know if people are capable of appreciation without the understanding that it's all against the backdrop of nothing.
Mm.
That's a hard thing to teach or describe. But yeah, you don't think about how amazing your health is until you get sick, and that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And so true, that probably the times you experience the most gratitude are, after tragedy or after loss, whatever that looks like. Um, and so help me think through that as it relates to crypto, as I don't know,
Mm.
as kind of flimsy as that might sound, like, why crypto? But, it is this thing that we're kind of, in every day,
Mm.
or around, and it's so abstracted in my mind, meaning it's almost not real. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just like, it's this thing that we talk about, and it moves up and down so much, and we're always analyzing it. We're talking about these projects that it's just hard to connect it to something like gratitude, or
Mm.
something that's very real, like the loss of a friend or the loss of your health. you know um and maybe we can't do that. Like, maybe it should just be, over there. um
No,
but
I think your instincts are right, because what I've observed is that on the Uncomplication channel, the community comes together when things are going down.
yeah.
When everything is going up is when people are just seeing the new car, the dreams fulfilled, that no one really wants to pause and talk about values. But if we're kind of collectively seeing that value fall, and that vision of a future suddenly questioned, is when I think people are open and receptive to the question of, like, what is really important to you.
Yeah.
And it's probably not contained in your little flickering iPhone or the screen that you're staring at. It's probably out in the world. So I was looking at the market this morning, and just seeing this pretty big drop in Bitcoin again, and all the alts are down. And I feel like if this is a day of gratitude and thanks, I don't know how many people are going to be sitting there like really thankful for their Bitcoin investment right now. Maybe it is an opportunity to say, you know what, that is not what really fills me. Um, yeah, I think that the opportunities to evaluate your life are a lot stronger in crypto when there is a pullback rather than a surge forward.
Yeah, that I hadn't thought about that, and it's so true that when things go down, um, I wouldn't say I like it more because I don't like it when it goes down, but the community aspect of it becomes more real, which yeah, I guess like after I say those words, it makes a lot of sense, but it that might be, to your point, the connection that I could make with gratitude is recognizing that, but also just experiencing that community and then trying to find ways to get back to gratitude when things aren't down. You know what I mean? Because that's the trick. To me, the trick of so much of even trading is, can you get on the other side of sentiment, right? And sentiment being like where you just go naturally, like going in the flow of whatever the market's doing or whatever. And so I'm always interested in how can we trick ourselves or our minds or the chemicals in our brains to be like get to gratitude when things are good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that about your approach, and I've taken a lot from it. The idea of if you're strapped to the roller coaster, you're going on a ride and it's harrowing. It might be really exciting at the top, but then you're also feeling the G force at the bottom.
Yeah.
And to be able to step back and see that from a distance gives you the opportunity to be okay with the whole thing because you see how it all goes together. You understand that a roller coaster ride wouldn't be exactly what it is if it didn't have these crazy highs and lows. And so then you can reapproach it. um, Maybe not strap yourself in so tightly, or maybe kind of play it from a distance. And I think in our lives similarly, because we're so ingrained in our own narrative,
Yeah.
we're not really able to see the bigger picture that is really beautiful. So, I mean, I've been on a roller coaster the last couple weeks and
Yeah.
this whole year, it feels like. And so I can get really hung up in this one moment being so critical. And so, the things that I'm thinking and saying and doing have this huge importance. But that's because I'm looking at a 1 minute time frame instead of the zoomed out time frame where this all kind of makes sense. And if I'm in a low, it's probably before the next big high. So maybe that's where the gratitude is also, is stepping back and being grateful for your lows because it actually gave contrast for your highs. Those are the kind of punctuation marks where I do feel like I'm off the ride and I'm right where I'm supposed to be, and everything makes sense, even the parts that don't. And gratitude is sort of that still point. I don't know, and that's an interesting word too. Like that, it's been talked about so much that I don't even know if it's exactly the right word, because it's almost like a duty. Like you should be grateful.
Yeah.
But I think when you have those moments where everything's okay, you might not be super grateful that you're hurting, but you can find that sort of still point where it at least it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is good, man. Like, I just really enjoy these conversations. So maybe that's the bow I can put on it is in this time of Thanksgiving. But yeah, I'm really thankful for this conversation. I know for me, like being in the charts every day, just being in that crypto conversation constantly, there is a toll, right? It does become it is easy, or I've had the experience of you can kind of become numb to it, like kind of numb to everything, where it just, I think that's a normal thing, right? When we go hard at anything and we burn out, you just kind of become numb. And this is probably like this type of conversation to me. Um, on top of everything else is what is so interesting right now, is making these connections between some conversation about gratitude, meditation, and consciousness around, you know, trading. It's like speculating on speculation in an unregulated casino, right? Like those are the two, this is the contrast, right? And it's like, thank you for this conversation. Thank you for continuing to have these, and, kind of offer these kind of deep connections between what I think is sometimes funny, that we're making bets on someone's ability to market well on Twitter, connecting that to meaning in life. If that made any sense.
Yeah, it's a perfect little button, because I don't like crypto, and I can say that. There's more about it that I don't like than what I do, but I'm grateful for it. I'm super grateful for it, because it is this bizarre mix of huge extremes, where on the one hand, like you said, people are chasing this wish granting, future looking, not present, greedy and fearful experience. Yet I've had more conversations that have been meaningful to me. I found more humanity and more people, open to talking about values and, what does it mean to be alive, and what are we actually looking for?
Yeah.
And I don't know why this space has that opportunity, but I've just found that again and again, behind every screen name, there's a human with a real story, and they're more often than not pretty wonderful people. And that is something that I'm very grateful for, and I'm going to continue to embrace, and maybe make some money in trading too. But that's really at this point secondary. I mean, you can walk through the casino and you can have these deep reflections on life and pull someone aside and be like, hey, why are you sitting in that chair 17 hours a day, putting quarters into the machine? What happened to you? Why is this where you want to put your value? And you get some amazing stories.
Yes.
And so you can't fault the casino for being there. But you can find sort of a microcosm of the whole human happening. And it's got a lot of the same elements that you would find anywhere else. So yeah, and thank you, because the people that have sort of gathered around this idea have been some of the most challenging, exciting, deep, thoughtful people that I've met. And you're definitely one of them. And I love taking time to to get all heady and hearty.
Yeah. Try to act like we're smart. Cool. Well, man, enjoy your Thanksgiving, enjoy your family, and, let's just connect maybe a few days after.
Yeah. I want to hear if you mess up the turkey second time in a row.
Yeah.
If you do that, then it won't be a responsibility next year. So
that's a
keep that in your back pocket.
Decent strategy there. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
You always have Taco Bell catered.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, man.